should be getting going soon. Hopefully. I might as well do official intro. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the fourth instalment of the Polyphony Digital Trophy. Tonight sees us race yet another American circuit. Very consistent with the American circuit so far this season, but this time we are at Bluemoon Bay, which again is a fictional circuit like the rest of the calendar. This time being a fictional circuit from the Gran Turismo Sport instalment to the series. So, controversial instalment, yes, but very good track nonetheless, and very good for racing. I think it's fair to say, especially considering it was added in Sport. You can guarantee that it is going to be good for racing, as Jake Burke. I don't know what he just did there. He crashed into someone. It'd be nice if we saw. Be nice to know if we are waiting on someone. Oh, he's crashed into the other Jake. Right, fair enough. Now, luckily, the camera angles are a tiny bit better here, so this track is a pretty interesting one, and we'll go over it in qualifying when the driving gets a bit more serious. But as you can see, been in this practice lobby since it's gone up, or since the practice has started in the official lobby. There you can see on the left is kind of your prediction on who's going to be where in qualifying. So, here we go. For the start of qualifying, and the time has gone off, and that's someone that's just gotten out way ahead of everyone else. Is it Mr. Witchell? No. It's Chubbs. So we'll go on board with Captain Chubbs for the first opening lap of this qualifying session. We'll go on board with him in the actual flying lap. So the championship as it stands at the moment, you've got Jake Birkenhead out in the lead, marginally ahead of Dominic Kubinski, who is also marginally ahead of Will Sutters, but only a stone's throw away is Adam Hands and Jake Witchell, so don't count the two of them out. But at the moment, your championship leader is Jake Birkenhead after a very impressive performance last week. And Adam Hands made up big points as well from an impressive performance last week too. But I think the most important and biggest one from last week is how much points Will Sutters missed out on. Of course, shaking up the championship quite mightily. So now, here we go, on board with Che Easton, Captain Chubbs, as he goes for his first flying lap. We see the nature of this circuit for those who aren't blind. This is a road circuit for an oval, or a roval, if you will. So going down the first corner, you go off the banking and then back onto it. So you're essentially cutting the first corner of the banking. And then it's back off the banking again for this fast left-hander. You just want to clip that inside and then immediately get back on the power, clip the inside again, and then it's a really difficult kind of medium speed corner, but he's got that one perfectly. And then now for probably the prime overtaking point of the circuit is this hairpin underneath the bridge. He's just all about getting the power perfect on the exit of this corner, very critical, and then again into another two corner sequence taken like one. He's just sliding on the exit there, messed it up slightly, and then it's a very fast second to last corner as he gets back onto the banking. And then for the final corner of the oval circuit, the final corner of the circuit itself, down low, and then you want to get back, probably staying down low for this lap. If you want to start another fast lap, you go up to the outside wall. This lap is going to be a 1 minute 7.6. You can imagine which would do faster, and it would, a 1 minute 7.2. So that's your current benchmark. Can anyone beat that? Sutters, Sophie beats Will. Jake Witchell still stays ahead. But an impressive lap from someone... Oh, very impressive lap from Stein. That's come out of nowhere, that. Stein van Hart. The really nice lap. But the lap times will get quicker, as we saw in practice. These people were doing 1 minute 6s. You can imagine they get maybe even slightly quicker than that. But we'll see. 1 minute 6.8 was the fastest I saw in this session. 1 minute 6.5 was the fastest I've seen overall. But Jake Witchell is currently leading out qualifying to the two Dutchies, Stein van der Hart and I want to say newcomer. He's not really a newcomer. He's been in this league before. He's been in the GTRC before. But it's his first race in the PDT, and he's just a stand-in, I think. But the way things go, you start off as a standard and he's going to do more races, I'm guaranteed. Rick Debris in the Nissan. So 2 Nissans in the top 3 and a Supra. But saying that, a Supra's just gone for provisional pole and the Nissan has just taken that provisional pole back. So this looks like it could be a battle. Unless Jake Birkenhead can get his act together, this could be a battle between Che Easton and Jake Witchell for pole position. Dominic Kabinski also setting a fast lap, getting himself into the top 5. We'll just go on board with Jake Birkenhead now, see what he's doing. Surely this is going to be a lap, but put him up there, and it will. Jake Birkenhead goes for provisional pole. That's more what we were expecting out of him. He was one of the fastest people in practice, especially this practice session. He was the fastest. So you'd definitely expect that kind of stuff out of him. Just watching for another lap now. You see he's just taking that first sector really well. Purple again, so that's better than his previous best. And again, really nice exit there, just avoiding the spinning McLaren, which McLaren, by the way, is not really a car that is performing too well around this circuit. Stark contrast to last week. McLaren, sliding from Birkenhead. McLaren was really strong last week, getting a very good haul of points and actually getting a win, their first win of the season. But here, some of the drivers are describing the car to be like a skateboard through that first corner. And it's a very technical first corner as well, in the way you approach it. Coming off the banking onto the flatter part of the circuit can really unsettle the car. And the McLaren seems to be the one struggling with that the most, I think it's fair to say. Although the NSX is not finding it easy. So it makes it all the more impressive, any NSX driver that can get up there. You see just a wiggle out the back of the car there. So it really struggles to keep itself under control through that corner. We'll look further back down the grids. Who is the highest placed McLaren? That'd be Luke Clark, P8. Which is, again, uncharacteristic, I think it's fair to say. So there's definitely struggles going on for the McLaren boys. We'll follow Luke till the end of this lap, see what he's capable of doing. Because for all we know, it could be an improvement. It is a minor improvement. What he needs to do is improve that lap a tiny bit more, and he's got P7. So we'll stay with him. He goes around the final corner, foot flat to the floor, and then hugging that outside wall. It's going to be a quick one. It's 1:07.7, so not an improvement, but still pretty quick lap from the McLaren driver. So another one that seems to be struggling out there tonight is Adam Hans, off the back of his first ever win last week. Really not finding life easy for him here at the Bay. A new fastest McLaren, by the way, Ruben Thurejo, just setting a 1:7.4. So he's currently 6/10 off. Again, race winner last week. Just like Ruben Thurejo, Adam Hans, race winner last week. Not finding his footing so far. But we have just another 3.5 minutes left of this session, so anything can happen. See these drivers moving out of the way for Will Sutters. Is Will on a lap? I'd imagine he might be. He is, but it's a minor decrease on his... That looked like he touched the grass a little bit there. Yeah, he's not improving through that sector, but it looks like he got a very nice exit out the second to last corner. Rick Debris goes 4th fastest. Adam Hans also pulls himself up to the top 7. Will Sutters not quite improving on his time, but another fast time. It certainly looked fast. I think the main shocker tonight is Stein van der Hart. Really good stuff from him so far. He set that 1:07.3. It looks like he was in the slipstream of Dominic Kabinski that lap. But as you see on the timing board, his 4th lap was also another 1:07.3. So he definitely has the pace to perform. It's just whether he can do it consistently. He is going 0.5 tenth up on his previous best again. Let's see, will the green NSX in front of him hold him up? I think he'll be fine. If anything, he might get slipstream off of him on the start-finish straight. Now, for these tricky double corners, treat it like a hairpin. He's going at 2.5 tenths up on his personal best. He keeps it out of the wall. It's going to be a mighty fine lap. Mighty fine lap indeed. Is he going to get the slipstream? I think he's a bit too far back to get the slipstream. If anything, this could be a very good lap from Sophie here. if he wasn't weaving on the straight like that, though. I think he's just cost himself more than he had to. Stijn van der Haar unfortunately misses out on what could have been a very good lap, but still up into the top 5. Sophie also went into the top 8, but again, I think that could have been quicker if he didn't try and weave and break the slipstream there. Not very clever things to do in qualifying, if I'm completely honest. Stijn going quicker again, so we'll keep with him. Oh, that's not going to help your laps. And I can't imagine he's going to be going quicker for much longer. Well, you get a good exit out of the hairpin. Yeah, not quite. What can... Dominic Kubinski can't do anything by the looks of it. Into that wall he goes. Rick Debris sets another improvement, but it's still just enough for 4th fastest. It's barely an improvement from what he had beforehand, but an improvement nonetheless. 1 minute 7.112, or 122 should I say. He's not improving this lap. So the top 3 is all Brit at the moment. A GTR in first, an NSX in second, and a Supra in third. We're currently on board with that Supra as he's just had a mistake out of the hairpin. Che Easton doesn't look like he's going to be setting the world alight with this lap. He's not, no. 5 tenths down. Jake Witchell. Now this is officially the final lap for Jake Witchell and everyone on track behind him. So, everyone. Jake peels to the inside. What's it going to be? Not an improvement. 1 minute 7.1, 2 tenths down from his personal best. So unless someone can pull something out, looks like that our pole sitters tonight will be the other Jake in the NSX, Jake Birkenhead. Is he improving? He's not. Well, I said that someone might be able to pull something out, and that could have been Will Sutters there. He's just gone 3rd fastest in his own Supra, so it's still NSX GTR Supra for the top 3. Stijn van der Haar, though, again, still Supra in 3rd place. It doesn't matter which Supra it is starting 3rd, but it looks like Stijn has a lot of pace tonight. Really impressive from the Dutchman. Some pace that we haven't really seen for the for the rest of the season. So good stuff on Stijn. What a lap that was. Only the 3rd different driver to get into the 1 minute 6s. And you wouldn't expect that from... Well, no, Stijn actually has won a GTRC race, but he hasn't won a race this season. But your pole sitter is Jake Birkenhead. Alongside him, Jake Witchell. And then the second row is Stijn van der Haar and Will Sutter. So it's an all-Supra second row. And then the 3rd row, Che Easton, Rick Debris. And then the top 8 is rounded out by Dominic Kubinski and Sophie. But what a qualifying from Stijn van der Haar. Only a 10th, or just over a 10th, off of pole position. Way less than a 10th off of P2. So if you can keep those consistent laps up, this could be very good for Team Toyota, very good for Stijn. And I'm always going to bet on the underdog, to be completely honest. So, no bias, but I want Stijn to do well today. So we'll just wait for the race to begin. Good stuff in that qualifying session, but we have seen the struggles of the McLarens continue as the highest placed McLaren is P10, Ruben Thorejao. So I'm sure they'll be looking for more in the actual race. All the McLarens have come together in one place, though. I'm guessing that's Chubbs in the chat. Hello. Or it could be Ruben. I think that might be Ruben. Team W Sut. I've got no clue who that is then. We got 5 red lights. Sophie's jump start in the background, and we are away. The Jake's getting a very good start, but someone getting an even better start is Stijn van der Haar. Already he's ahead of Jake Witchell. He's gone to the outside of Jake Birkenhead. Stijn now leads the race out ahead of Jake Birkenhead. Jake Birkenhead now goes back for that inside. Stijn for the old switcheroo. He gets it done. What a move. Stijn leads this race out of the first corner What a move to get back ahead of Jake Birkenhead. Jake Witchell's had a nightmare start. So has Stein, though. Stein off onto the grass. He only loses one position out of that. There's spinning in the background from Joe Whedon. Joe Whedon just really struggling there. Looks like he got himself in some kind of incident. Will Sutter's fallen straight back again. Stein stays P2 and Jake Birkenhead's made himself back up into the lead. Jake Witchell as well up into P3 ahead of Will Sutters again, but someone who's had a very good start is the Spaniard Ruben Thorejo, found out from Galicia, not from Barcelona, as Witchell does, in fact, there you go, Witchell takes P2 again, so Stein's back to where he started. But Jake Birkenhead had all of this as a massive 1 second lead coming out of the final lap. We'll just see at the back, who is that at the back? That is Luke Clark, so I think Luke Clark might have got himself involved with that Joe Whedon incident. So not great start for the two McLaren drivers. And then again, Sophie, who jumped the start, is down in P12 at the moment. We did see Stein just lost another position there to Will Sutters. Will also hounding down Jake Witchell. He's not looking to stay around anymore, but that's Jake Burke. Jake Birkenhead has gone round. Jake Birkenhead has lost the lead of the race. He's made some kind of mistake. Well, we missed it. We missed the mistake, but he made some kind of mistake there, and Jake Birkenhead has gone tumbling down all the way to P13. He is out of this one for sure. There's no... That is shocking. Shocking for Jake Birkenhead. We did miss Dominic Kabinski also getting up there, and Rick Debris has just spun around again. Rick Debris has also just spun around. I don't think there was contact there. It just looked like he'd lost it on the exit. Jesus. Everything's happening. So now, against all of this, Jake is still leading the race. It's just a different Jake, Jake Witchell, ahead of Will Sutters, and then the pole, Dominic Kabinski. Following that, Stein still P4, and Ruben still P5. Very good from the McLaren driver. Side by side now going into the first corner. Witchell has to go to the outside. Will Sutters on the inside. Witchell has to back out of that one. Oh, sliding action from the super driver, and Witchell now has a chance to go for the inside. Still side by side now through some corners where you probably shouldn't want to be side by side, but they're making it stick anyway, and Will Sutters just about keeps the lead, but this has slowed them both down a lot, to the point where now Dominic Kabinski is going to enter the battle in that pink Honda NSX. Witchell again goes for that outside line. Lovely move around the outside, sweeps past Witchell like it's no, sweeps past Will Sutters like it's nothing, but Sutters goes for the inside again, but just has to pull out that one. That one was a bit opportunistic, that one. Has to pull out. Fair racing from him, but was that just... Oh, Dominic Kabinski almost flying off the track there. Something definitely flew off the track. It was one of the brake marker boards, and that looks like that he will be losing the position to Stein van der Hart here. So Stein is still very much in it, so is Dominic Kabinski. Stein just trying to block that position, keep that P3. He'll be looking for a podium. It'll be one of his best results of the season. Just avoiding contact there. Kabinski goes for that inside, but he manages to keep it clean. Stein leaves the gap for him, and Kabinski just has to pull out of that one. So Will Sutters still just on the back of Jake Witchell. Stein keeps that position ahead of Kabinski, and all the while Thorejo is just licking his lips in the background. He knows anything could happen, but Sutters momentarily was going around the outside there of that corner, but he couldn't just make it stick there, really. Witchell is making that GTR the widest Nissan on the circuit. He is, however, he just got a very good exit out of there, did Will Sutters. And then got a very poor entry into this corner. So it's pretty level pegging between these two. But the gap is increasing marginally. This is your main battle for the lead. Very similar to what we saw on round one, but already there's another battle going on just in the background. Kabinski round the outside of Stein van der Hart, but again you see that NSX really struggling on that bump on turn one. But Kabinski goes for the switcheroo just like Stein did on the first lap. Kabinski makes it stick as Kabinski is up into P3. Stein van der Hart just has to settle for P4 now. I'm sure he'll be trying to stick with P3 though, trying to get that position back. Already in the background we see another GTR approaching. That is Rick Debris coming back after his early spin. Ruben Thorejo just leading him out, but Ruben doesn't look like to have the pace of the cars around him. I think Rick might be slightly quicker than Ruben. And I know Ruben hasn't really been catching the two cars ahead unless they've been battling like they are now. Just keep an eye on Ruben, because I have a feeling Rick might be trying to make a move soon. Saying that though, Rick just slid out of the exit that corner, but he's still got a very good exit. And now he's not gotten such a good exit, so they're not quite as close as they were before. So Kabinski still in P3, battle going on for the leaders. Jake Witchell pulls all the way onto the apron. No rule saying you can't do that in this league. So Will Sutters goes around the outside. He's not going to make that move stick, and he's almost gone off the circuit there. That move was never going to happen for Will Sutters, so he's just going to bide his time. He can afford to make mistakes like that as long as he can recatch Jake Witchell, because the gap between himself and Kabinski is over 2 seconds, so they have room to battle. I think it's fair to say they have room to battle, and battle is what they are doing. Still, the race leader is Jake Witchell. This is very reminiscent of the first round. These two were absolutely scrapping at it in the first round. It's good to see these two back scrapping at it. But all aboard the Kabinski train as things are getting close, all the way down to P8, Adam Hands. These are all very closely following cars, and Kabinski is the lead of them, and he doesn't seem to be pulling away from Stein van der Hart as much as he might have been wanting to. He is pulling to the inside now just to stop Stein from finding any gap possible. But Stein still has the slipstream. It's just not going to be enough for him though. Stein does close the gap a little bit coming into this corner. So the gap is closing between the two. Gap has definitely closed between Rick Debris and Ruben Thorejo as Rick does make that overtake. Ruben just has to back out of that one. Ruben, whoa, once again, still not got his tyre issues under wraps. Always that front right. Ruben feigns a move down to the inside. Oh, Ruben's outbraked himself there. Off into the grass, as long as he doesn't pull across in front of Che Easton and Adam Hands. He's still ahead of them, didn't pull in front of them though, so still a safe re-entry. And again, Adam Hands, sure, will make this move pretty soon on Ruben Thorejo. And he does, yeah, because Ruben will have dirty tyres. If you don't know what dirty tyres is, basically he's gone off onto the grass, so the tyres are covered in bits of dirt and grass. But there is some kind of overtake that's about to happen here. Stein versus Dominic Kabinski again for P3. Stein very deep down the inside, but he makes it stick as long as he can keep it out of the wall. He did keep it out of the wall, so Stein van der Hart is back up into the top three. I imagine this battle will be going on for the rest of the race, but Stein, purple, obviously from the slipstream of Dominic Kabinski, and they got a very nice overtake done. Didn't cost him too much time in his overall lap. Stein back up into the top three though. I'm sure he'll be very chuffed with that. But they have to be looking in their rearview mirrors. Dominic Kabinski now, especially after that mistake he just made, deep into the hairpin. Dominic Kabinski will be having to look in his rearview mirrors for the Nissan GTR of Rick Debris. Rick being very close at this point now. Dom's just fallen out of slipstream from the Dutchman ahead. Now he has to look at the Dutchman behind, who has his slipstream. Dom doesn't pull to the inside. He leaves a gap on the outside, leaves a gap on the inside. He says, make your pick, Rick. Dom now does go for the inside. So Rick is forced to the outside. Can Rick pull back in? No, Dom covers that well. And again, Debris just sat behind Kabinski. Kabinski holding that position well. I'm sure he'll be defending much heavier through these next few corners. Now Debris is right on his rear end, but two of them are still catching Stein van der Hart, which is not what Stein will be wanting to see, and I'm sure Rick probably knows that. Rick might be working with Kabinski at this point to catch his fellow Dutchman up ahead in P3, because at the end of the day, they care about getting that P3. P3 is more important than a P4, so if they can do anything they can to both put themselves in a position where they can get P3, then that is all they need to do. NSX leading GTR. Gap has increased again to the Supra in front, so this looks like that the battle for P3 might not be on unless these two seriously work together. but then doesn't seem like they are working together. Dominic Kubinski goes for that inside line. Rick Debris to the outside. Ooh, door tapping there as Rick... Oh, gee, I think he avoids the wall, but it was close. Rick now on the outside, Dom on the inside. Rick just has to sweep around the outside, easy as pie. As Dominic Kubinski lets him go through, but Dom will not be letting that one go. Saying that, he has just lost a massive gap to Rick Debris. Further back down the grid, Adam Hans still behind Captain Chubbs. That move happened at some point while we weren't looking. Ruben Thorrejo hasn't quite made up the ground that he had at the start of that race. Bear in mind, Ruben was fighting in the top 5 simply because that McLaren gets a absolutely mega launch off of the line. That is pretty much the only reason why he was up there. No disrespect to Ruben Thorrejo, but that's just... it's how the car works. I don't make the rules. Gets an insane launch off of the start-finish line. Zsolt Langstadler just biding his time in P6. Then with Luke Clark, no one to bother him in P10, but still not a great race for the McLaren boys. Speaking of, Jake Birkenhead is still P11. Jake Birkenhead will want to get that extra position because he'll have a chance of starting at pole in the next race if he gets up one more position, but I'm sure it's not helping much as he's battling his other 2 Honda teammates in Sophie and Hank the American. And then just behind, well, I say just behind, very far behind, Joe Whedon not having the first race of the night he would have wanted. We'll update you on the lead again. Jake Witchell is currently leading the race once more. It's just made that gap a tiny bit larger to Will Sutters, and I think the fight is off now, really, between him and Sutters. The gap is way too big for anything to realistically happen at this point. Same might be said of Van der Hart and Debris. Debris just isn't really making the same ground that Kubinski was on Van der Hart. Van der Hart, what pace this man has right now. I say that as he's just gone wide in the first corner. But what pace does Stein have at the moment? That's one of the only mistakes I've seen him make all race. And he's, for the most part, he's now catching Will Sutters. Marginally catching Will Sutters, but he was catching him briefly there. Stein is a man on fire tonight. Saying that, Rick Debris is currently closing that gap quite a lot, so I think Rick has gotten his stuff together, and he does have pace, does Rick Debris, but does he have the pace to close almost 2 seconds in what will be 3 laps once this lap ends? Well, if Stein keeps making mistakes like he did in turn 1 there, who knows? It's anyone's game, really. Background, Adam, very close now behind Che Easton. Adam Hans just watches as Che goes into the wall there, so he'll have a very nice run coming through the final corner. Goes up to the top of the banking. Che goes down almost onto the apron there. Fair racing between the two, door rubbing. Che does move to the outside just a little bit more. Adam gives him the space, gives him the respect. Adam tries it round the outside. Che, again, no contact between the two. Side by side all the way through the first corner. Back up onto the banking, still side by side. Surely Adam's going to have to back out of this one, but he doesn't. Adam still there, just backs out there. He can't really stay alongside for much longer than he did. But good racing between the two. Another slow exit from Captain Chubbs as Adam Hans gets another opportunity. Chubbs goes to the inside, Adam to the outside. Chubbs just holds that position for one more corner. Surely Chubbs cannot keep this for the entirety for the rest of the race. Looks like Adam has a tiny bit more pace than him at this point. They're both on the mediums, so it's all equal between the two. Again, Adam with another chance to potentially make the move. Chubbs falls to that inside, so does Adam, just to follow him through. Adam then goes to the outside, Chubbs holds that inside. Adam could be sneaky and probably dive down the apron if he wanted to. I'm sure no one would hold it against him. But still, Chubbs keeps that position. Chubbs is defending very well. side by side once more. Adam should have found out last lap that going along the outside of that corner doesn't work, and again it hasn't worked this time round either. So Adam needs to figure something new out, because his current approach isn't working on Che Easton. But I've just seen up for P3 things have gotten a lot closer now. Just over a second splits the two Dutchmen. So this could be a battle for the podium on the final lap. So we are going to follow these guys instead. Stijn van der Hart just leading out his fellow Dutchman, but the GTR driver, so no teamwork between the two of them here. Rick de Brie will be within slipstream range soon, as Stijn was a second down on that lap. It looked like it was not a great one from him. Don't crumble under the pressure. Stijn very wide through the first corner. It seems like he has suffered a bit from that. Stijn again. He is actually going for his personal best, so that really means there's time for him. You know, there's definitely time in his lap times for him to make improvements. The gap now 0.6 between himself and Rick de Brie. I don't think Rick is quite close enough to do anything. It will come down maybe to a drag race to the line. Adam Hans and Che Easton still battling in the background. We just see on the timing board to the left, I think Adam's made that move. Yeah, Adam has made that move. We'll just go to the lead. So rounding the final corner for the first race of tonight at the NASCAR-inspired circuit of Bluemoon Bay, the first champion of the Bay is Jake Witchell, leading out Will Sutters for P2, and then the final podium position, an impressive drive. Stein's very happy with that one. Stijn van der Hart for P2. Rick de Brie, his fellow Dutchman, just P4, and then it's Dominic Kabinski rounds out the top 5. Adam Hans did catch Chubbs in the end. Adam Hans gets P6. Then it's Che Easton, P7, and then the highest placing McLaren for P8. And then Jake Birkenhead did get back into the top 10, so good work from him. Jake Birkenhead, P9. Unlucky how the start of the race went, but that was a self-inflicted mistake by the looks of it. Jolt Langstadler will be your pole sitter for the next race. Sophie finishes P11, and then it's the American P12. And Luke Clark, can he beat Joe Whedon while driving backwards? This is the race that we all care about. Is he going to do it? Reversing over the line, here comes Joe Whedon. Can he do it? Not quite. If only the finish line was a little bit closer, but Joe Whedon does take home P13. Luke Clark, I'd say settling for last place, but I thought it looked like he was very prepared for last place there. And I've killed my voice. So there you are, your race winner, Jake Witchell, with the clean race bonus. Didn't even start on pole. If you remember, Jake Birkenhead was the one that started on pole, and look how that turned out for him. But we'll just look at the results here. Fastest lap was Jake Witchell, once again. The 1:07 dead. Will Sutters was closing that gap again near the end of the race, but it just wasn't enough. But Will also on very good pace. Same with Stijn van der Hart, setting very close lap times to the top 2. Rick de Brie, P4, another very nice fastest lap for him. It's Dominic Kabinski rounds out the top 5. Now looking at the back of the grid, here are your gaps. For those who keep asking for the gaps in the races after them, I've shown the entire grid now. So your pole sitter for the next race will be Jolt Langstadler in the McLaren F1 GTR, followed by Jake Birkenhead, and then it is Ruben Thorejao, Che Easton, and Adam Hans. So realistically, you'd expect Ruben and Jolt to have a very, very good launch off of the line. Should do well in this race. I think it's fair to say the two McLaren drivers starting at the front with their monster launches, I'd imagine there's no reason why they shouldn't do well. So, not a break for Jake Witchell as he's setting laps on the mediums. So you imagine Jake will be starting on the medium compound for this next race. Jake is starting P10, bear in mind. So, all to play for Mr. Witchell. Who have we got in chat right now? How many people we got in chat? We got 6 people in chat. Is anyone want to say? There's Mr. Birkenhead, had brake bias issues and ended up throwing basically the handbrake. Certainly looked like it, Jake. Honestly, it looked really bad. If you want to put the brake bias to the front, probably, I think that would help. Because if you put it to the rear, then the back end's going to spin out every time, I think. That's how it works in this game. I'm not sure if that's how it works in real life, though. But, yeah, if you put it closer to the front, it'll induce more understeer. Hello, Super. Super's in the chat. -4 for quali works spot on. Yeah, I'd imagine it would, to be fair. Imagine it would. Just remember to set it for the race. Fuel in the car and it just spin randomly. Bloody hell. Well, I mean, in all fairness, the NSX is still quick. It's just keeping it under control in certain corners. It looked like he'd just gone round and yanked the handbrake, I'll be honest. It certainly looked like that. -1 for the race. That makes sense. The car is heavier. Makes sense. Dom says he's coming back. Didn't even know he was gone. Oh, did he? Did you disconnect or what? So Jake Witchell will be racing on the mediums in this race, so will Will Sutters. Rick Debris will be joining them on the mediums. Oh, the LAN cable disconnected, nice. Ruma Thorejo as well on the mediums. That might not be the move he wants to do here. He's got to use 2 mediums though, doesn't he? Poor Ruben. Poor Ruben has to use 2 mediums, and he has such a great position he does for this race, but has to use 2 mediums, so realistically it's all eyes on the Hungarian starting pole. I think Ruben will have a chance, but not as good as he would have done had he been on the softs. Stoffy is also on the medium, so Stein van der Hart. Stein taking this opportune moment to use medium tyres, and why wouldn't you? Had a very good race in the last one. I say go for it. Jake Birkenhead also on the mediums. He has to use 2, I think. Did he win last week? No, he didn't win last week. Jake Birkenhead just has to use the 1 set, and he's using it now. So, interesting call. Starting high up the grid. Makes sense. The American's also using the mediums, so is Adam Hans and Joe Whedon. So not many drivers on the softs at all. It's only Clark Easton. It's only Clark Easton and Langstadler on the softs. I imagine Kabinski might also go on the softs hearing that. But yeah, not many drivers on the softs for this race. I'm not saying it's an easy run for the soft drivers, on this one, but it's certainly going to be quicker than the mediums, as you'd expect. So we'll just wait for the pole to come back. Not the pole sitter, but the pole. We have 13 people watching. I imagine that's everyone on track right now. No, not everyone, but I'm sure a lot of those are the drivers. So if you haven't already, just give the channel a follow, so put the notifications on so you know every time that we're going to be streaming these races, because they are belters. I think it's fair to say this track has produced brilliant racing so far tonight, and everyone stayed pretty clean, which is lovely to see. Something you love to see. You need to restart again. Bloody hell, mate. I did forget to save the replay for the first race, so I'm hoping someone else saved it and posted it. Just look at the results. Oh, nothing's going on. and if you are in chat, feel free to talk. It's quite lonely, quite boring. Nothing is going on at the moment. Nice one from Jake Birkenhead there. So I feel like I say this every time Jolt Langstadler starts anywhere close to the top in the reverse grid, but my money's on him. I feel like he's got a chance in this one. He's on the soft tyres, he's starting pole. Most other drivers are on the mediums. Please let this one be the one. That's all I'm saying. Please let this one be the one. You never know. One of these times, I'm going to say, oh, I think Jolt Langstadler is going to win this race. And he's going to win it, and you're all going to think I'm a genius. Just got to wait for that time. Looks like Kabinski is retiring from this round. He's just put in the Discord, which is unfortunate. So I thought that was Langstadler going for a practice start, but it wasn't. So I'd imagine the race is starting in just a few moments with that information in mind. If we're all ready, Che Easton start the race. He's certainly thinking about it. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on in Che Easton's mind right now. Either that or there's nothing going on in his mind, bless him. He's one or the other with Che. Chubbs. Feels weird calling him his actual name, I'll be completely honest, so I'm just not going to do that. I can't remember when I was racing if anyone actually called me Tom Holland. I think everyone just called me Pine. So it is a lap. What a launch from Joe Whedon. Wow. So fast, it looked like he was going backwards. Oh, Dom's just said hold on, but I'll be honest, mate, we're not holding on for you. Look, I've got places to be after this, and the longer it gets delayed, then yeah. But here we are for the second race, the first reverse grid of the night, the last standing start of the night. We just get the 5 red lights, and it's 3, 2, 1. And we are away, as you'd expect. Jolt Langstadler getting a very good start. So did Ruben Thorejao in the 2 McLarens up front. Looks like Chubb's also got a very neat start. Just about to go around the outside of Jake Birkenhead. Thorejao leads out, for the most part, the pack. Because Langstadler's already half a second up the road. Birkenhead just holding his ground. Oh, Langstadler's off into the grass. I should stop saying that he's going to do well. I should really stop saying he's going to do well. I keep cursing him. Langstadler falling further and further back. Eesh. Sliding. Don't spin it. He spun it. See, this is why we're not allowed nice things. Honestly, I'm the worst gambler in the world. I always bet on the wrong thing. So, one McLaren out for another. Your new race leader is Ruben Thorejao, followed by Jake Birkenhead. And then behind that is Chubbs and Adam Hans. But Chubbs is on the softs, everyone else is on the mediums around him. Everyone down to Luke Clark is on the mediums, except for Captain Chubbs. So, Chubbs, just keep it together, mate, and you've got this one. Minor sliding through the first corner from him, as we say that. Adam Hans is all over the back of him still. I can't imagine he'll be over the back of him for too long. Chubbs obviously has the pace advantage. You'd imagine he has the pace advantage, and yeah, he is pulling out of these corners much faster than the medium tyre users behind him. which is not a surprise to anyone. But someone who's not really had a great start is Rick Debris. Not really too sure what's happened, but P10 is lower than where he started. He's not had a fantastic start. Be interesting to see what that is post-round, not post-race, post-round. So I'm not going to stream that. Here we are, Caps and Chubbs now on the back of Jake Birkenhead. Chubbs, I'm sure, is not going to be waiting around. Chubbs forced to the outside. He's going to go for the old switcheroo. Is he just trying to find more grip around the outside on those superior soft tyres? He's got his nose stuck in. Oh, just keeps it out of the wall there. And again, nose stuck in around the outside. Birkenhead holds the position. But Chubbs can afford to try those moves, really. He has such a massive tyre advantage on the mediums. Maybe not so much on an NSX on mediums, but against everything else, he can really afford to try those moves. Again, Birkenhead dives to the inside. Birkenhead looks like he's just made a move for the lead there. He has made a move for the lead on Ruben Thoraijo. Thoraijo, though, bites back. Still on the inside. Oh, sliding from Thoraijo. Is Thoraijo going to go for the move here? No. He does, however, hold up Che Easton a little bit, and Che Easton does bump him slightly, but the move was made clean in my eyes. Now in the slipstream of the NSX, just after making an overtake out the final corner, NSX goes onto the apron. Birkenhead gets a push from behind from Ruben Thoraijo into teamwork as Thoraijo pushes Chubbs into the lead. Oh, he does go wide through the first corner, just keeps it out the wall there. But that should be game, set, match. Really, that should be game, set, match for Che Easton. Jake Witchell is making his way up the field, though, already. Up into P3. Bear in mind, this guy started in 10th. Just doing Witchell things. And in the background, you just saw Will Sutters making the move on Ruben Thoraijo. So this has not gone well for Ruben. Bless him, it's not gone well. He's gone from being first not too long ago to now being 5th. Didn't go too well in the first race for him either, did it? But already, the gap is just getting bigger and bigger between the lead and P2. So I've been racing for 4-5 years, and when you see someone with a tyre advantage like that, it's very rare that they don't scamper off into the distance and take the race win. Very rare, but this is Captain Chubbs we're talking about, the Lord of the Bottle. Bottle's so hard, we call him the glass around here. He's going, stomping off into the distance. So I think really everyone's fight and everyone's goal here should be P2. Birkenhead just going wide, allowing the other Jake behind him and Jake Witchell to just get a much better exit through that corner. And then again, that helps him into the braking of the hairpin. He doesn't have dirty tyres. Jake Birkenhead will have dirty tyres through there. And again, Birkenhead will have slightly dirty tyres coming through these next few corners. We have the double left-hander taken as one. What a track this has been for racing so far. This has been absolutely superb. And this is an all-time favourite of mine, this track. I love it whenever any league comes to race here because it's such an underrated circuit. But Witchell, he's just tucked in on the slipstream of Jake Birkenhead. Should we go on board again? I think we should. Witchell just sitting behind, minding his business. I imagine he'll be looking for that move on Birkenhead pretty soon, but Birkenhead does have pace. He is also on the mediums, just like Witchell, but he does have a lot of pace, especially in that NSX. I think it's fair to say that NSX is very strong in the mediums. He seems to have gotten his braking issues sorted by how he's taking these corners, not spinning in them at the very least. But yeah, Birkenhead maybe the battle of the Jakes might not be what we're looking at realistically. Maybe it might be Witchell and Sutters. Birkenhead has a lot of pace. Sliding out the exit there is Jake Witchell. Again, Birkenhead is actually catching Che Easton, so Chubbs needs to get his act together. Chubbs needs to get his act together. Are there any close battles happening? There's a train going on from 10th down to 12th. Two McLarens stuck behind an NSX. I imagine they'd probably stay there. Chubb's going very far to the inside there. He's... I think he's driving a bit too paranoid. Surely he knows the advantage he has compared to the other cars. I really think he just doesn't need to defend that much. Just keep your head down and drive like it's a practice session, mate. That's all you need to do. When you're in this position and you know that realistically you should have an advantage on the cars behind, you shouldn't be making mistakes like that. You should get your head down and treat it like it's a practice session. And just not really think about the whole aspect of, oh, it's a race and there's a car behind me trying to catch up. Because he won't catch up if you just, you know, ignore him. I know that sounds really, like, weird, but it's true. Just got to drive like it's a practice session. I don't think Witchell's not quite catching Birkenhead. Satters is no longer catching Witchell, and Ruben Thorrejo, where is he in all the mix? Stuck in the middle of you. Just between Stein van der Hart and Will Sutters. Doesn't really seem to be gaining or losing to either of them too much, and that's really the theme for everyone on track at the moment. None of these drivers are losing to anyone or gaining especially much on anyone except for Luke Clark, who is gaining on Adam Hands. But you'd expect that from the soft tyre runner compared to the medium tyre runners around him. 1:77. So down on the pace from the other soft tyre runner in this race of Chubbs, but not a million miles off. Down, but not a million miles off. He'll certainly be quicker than the medium tyre runners around him. And at the end of the day, when you're racing, all that matters is if you're quicker than the people around you. But you can't really hold it against him if he's not as quick as Chubbs at this stage of the race, because that McLaren is just not what it was last week, I think it's fair to say. Something is up with that McLaren this week at this track. But look at the speed he can carry through that corner in comparison to Adam Hands. Very, very grippy are those soft tyres. Well, it feels like common sense really saying the softs are grippier than the mediums, but the NSX drivers, I'm sure, are not minding being on those softs whatsoever. The NSX obviously handles the softs, or the medium should I say, way better than all the other cars on the grid, full stop. Clark on the inside now of Adam. Clark does make that move, but he goes slightly wide at the exit. Adam now just on the outside, but I'm sure he has to back out of that one. Clark even goes wide out of that corner, so if Adam hadn't backed out of that one, it would have been a very sad day for him, I think it's fair to say. But good move from Luke Clark to move himself up into P7. Not much has changed up front here. Witchell is catching Birkenhead slightly. Two Jakes. But it's been a quiet race, this one, much quieter than the first race. There was a lot more battling going on in the first one. Will Sutters in no man's land in the 2021 Verstappen, or 2020 Verstappen should I say, is what I like to call it. If anyone remembers that season, it would be every single race Verstappen was not just close enough behind Hamilton, but way further ahead than Bottas. Every single race. Stein van der Hart looking for the move P5. Stein is all over the back of the now repainted McLaren. If you remember last week, that was a Lark McLaren. Now it is a Golf Davidoff McLaren, which is a beautiful looking livery, I think it's fair to say. And to be honest, as much as I love the Lark McLaren, having three of the same livery got quite confusing, I think. Well, three of the very similar livery. You know, give respect to Joe Whedon. It doesn't have the Lark logos on it, but it is the same design. Clark in the Lark, all over the back of Stein in the Valvoline. Not quite enough. I'm sure Clark will be making the move soon though. Just peels to the inside a little bit. Stein takes the bait, goes for the defence. Oh, contact there, I think, between himself and Thorrejo. There might have been marginal contact there. It looked like a very late lunge from Van der Hart on Thorejo, but the position hasn't been handed back. These two are in the party, so you'd imagine that Thorejo was probably pleased with that move. He was fine with that move, so fair enough. It's better to sort it out between yourselves before anything else, but it did look like a very late move from Van der Hart. I'm sure Thorejo will be wanting to return the favour. He is sliding out of the hairpin, and Luke Clark gets the move done on Ruben Thorejo pretty easily. Thorejo's on the grass there. Has to look behind him now at Adam Hands, who was all over the back of him. Clark into the wall there. Jesus. There you go. Adam Hands now on the inside. He's going to have the slipstream as well. The car's ahead. Oh, now Ruben Thorejo with that slipstream. Adam Hands just has to settle for the position he's in, but he's not doing that. He's just gained slipstream from Stein Van der Hart as he goes defensive on Luke Clark. Oh, close there. It looked close very between Stein Van der Hart and Luke Clark, but Luke just stays behind Stein. Stein defending very aggressively there, not taking any prisoners. Stein holds that P5, but Luke Clark has got pace, got a lot of it at this stage of the race. Two Jakes, still the gap is relatively the same, sitting around that 6/10 area. But what this does mean is we might be seeing yet another new race winner this season. I mean, this seems like the theme of the season so far. Witcher will win the first race, and then someone completely new will win the next race. Oh, very aggressive defending from Stein. And then, yeah, he's just been treated with driving into the wall there. That was very on the edge there from Van der Hart. On the edge of what you would call fair and respectful, and I think Karma has treated him back properly there. Very good defending, should I say, but very aggressive. So Van der Hart now has to look behind him to the other medium runner cars. I think that Lark McLaren is just out of reach from him now. Witchell, he's closing the gap slightly on Birkenhead, but I think Birkenhead really makes his pace up in these final couple corners. You see, yeah, there you go. He's just gained back some of that time that he'd lost earlier in the lap, so it's really anyone's game for P2. I think Birkenhead has the edge over Witchell at this point, though. But all this does mean is Birkenhead's going to be getting very good points in the championship, especially considering Kabinski didn't even make this race, and I'm assuming not the next race either. So great points for Birkenhead as he chases his first championship in the GTRC. Of course, Sutter's made very good points in the last race, so anything can happen. It's anyone's game. Don't count out Jake Witchell, though. He is just a stone's throw from that title fight. He's calculated he needs to gain 18 points on whoever's leading the championship every single round, and he'll have a chance to win it by the final 2 rounds. So Witchell has a plan. Is it coming to fruition? Certainly he had a very good first race to do so. He won the race and Jake Burke finished 9th. So do not count out Jake Witchell. He is still in this championship fight. He's certainly got the pace to do it every single week. Stein Van der Hart, speaking of fights, he's still got Adam Hands behind him, but not for long, as Adam Hands looks like he's almost gone for the move there, but Stein covered it off very nicely. Ruben Thorejo's just dropped out of this one by the looks of it, so it is all Adam versus Stein for what is the closest battle on track right now. Stein just on the inside, taking the racing line, as you'd imagine. Then again, covers the inside for the next corner. Needs to be careful defending that inside on the next corner, because the car can get very unsettled going into turn 1. Adam takes P6. Stein's not having any of it, goes straight back to that inside for the move. They both go slightly wide at the apex, but Stein gets the apex done better than both of them. As you'd imagine, he is on the inside. Stein back up into P6. Adam, a lunge back for P6, but he makes it stick. Doesn't quite get the move done though, but what an overtaking attempt from Adam Hands. Beautiful, it was reckless, it was wonderful. Very good from him. Nice clean driving between the two, lots of respect between the two, I can imagine. Adam, is he going to go for the old switcheroo? Doesn't quite get the exit on Stein van der Hart. Oh, what's happened? What's Chubbs done? Oh, Chubbs, you blithering idiot. Sorry. So Jake Birkenhead is just leading out Jake Witchell. So Jake Birkenhead wins the second race, then Jake Witchell, and then it's Chubbs. But I don't know what he did. That was all tied up for Chubbs. Will Sutter's fourth. I mean, I joked about him bottling his races, but Jesus, man. Luke Clark, P5. Stein does keep P6 ahead of Adam Hans, and then it's Ruben Thurejo in P8. Rick Debris, P9, and then Sophie takes P10. He'll be starting on pole in the next race. Jolt Langstadler just finishing outside the top 10. That's P11 for him. Then it's Joe Whedon, P12, and then the American in last place. But Chubbs, what the hell happened? Like, I'm baffled. What could Chubbs have possibly have done? I mean, obviously he's bottled it somewhere, and we missed it because we were looking at that Stein van der Hart battle, which was going very well between him and Adam, in all fairness. But Chubbs, I can't believe he did that. You had at least 3 seconds on Jake Birkenhead at one point. I really need to know what happened. I'm genuinely gobsmacked. I thought there was no way Chubbs could lose that one. Oh. Well, there you are. Adam Hans goes up one position, gets the clean race bonus, and wins the race. So good stuff from him. Good stuff as well from the other Jake on the grid. I said Adam Hans. Jake Birkenhead, shall I say, won that race. Good stuff from the other Jake on the grid, and Jake Witchell finishing P2. Of course, good points for his respective championship. Both their respective championships, I say. So there you are. Fastest lap was Captain Chubbs with a 1 minute 7.1. Oh, God. What did you do, mate? I need to know. If anyone in chat is able to tell me what Chubbs did, please do. I don't know what happened. I can't tell if you can tell in my voice, but I'm really disappointed. I wanted Chubbs to win that one. I really did. Oh, God, gutted. Will Sutter's P4. Luke Clark does get a top 5 in the end, so good stuff from the McLaren driver. Stein van der Hart just holds off Adam Hans for P6. No, it's Adam Hans P7. Ruben Thurejo finishes off the top 8. Rick Debris P9. Sophie Wolf starting on pole, and then the 11th, 12th, and 3rd positions are occupied by two McLaren drivers of Super and Joe, and then Hank the American. Come on, someone in chat will be able to tell me what the hell did Chubbs do? Please, can someone tell me? I'm actually like. For those who weren't watching at the time, I was watching a very good battle between Stein van der Hart and Adam Hans, and then I do my regular, okay, let's go to the front to see the race winner, and it's bloody Jake Birkenhead. Jake Birkenhead's leading the race, and Chubbs is in 3rd, and I really don't know what happened. I've got no clue. I've really got no clue. I'm lost for words. Here we go. Luke Clark has to use his mediums now. Oh, look at him go. Beautiful sliding through that corner. Ooh. Could have been special. Turns out the only special thing about that car is the driver. To be fair, I don't know how you'd be able to catch a slide that easy in a bloody McLaren F1 GTR. But there you go, he's just doing donuts. Doesn't take these races as seriously as everyone else, and why should you? To be honest, why should you? It's a video game, just have fun. That's what I always say about racing on this and any racing game. It's, you know, the moment you take a race too seriously, it's just not fun. So Birkenhead, race winner today. I was expecting to say it, but I wasn't expecting to say it in that race. you know, considering everything that Chubbs, all the advantages he had, I really was not expecting Chubbs to even have an aspect of. I know I missed Chubbs' signature move. I'm guessing he bolted it something different. I'm gutted. I'm really gutted. Like, to quote Martin Brundle, I haven't been this disappointed since Shrek 2. Shrek 2 was actually a very good movie. I don't know why he said that, but I haven't been this disappointed since Shrek 2. I'm so disappointed in Chubbs. I really am. Sure, Jake Birkenhead doesn't really give a shit. He's doing celebratory donuts by the looks of it. Another race win for the championship leader. So we're just waiting on the grid to be set. Underway for the third and final race of the night. This time it will be a rolling start. Interesting stuff. This time it will be a rolling start, and the pole sitter will be the green NSX of Sophie. Any day now. You'd think this would be the last race. You know, we've just watched the last race of the night, how these lot are driving. Celebratory, if not. Here we go. That's not right. Oh, there you go. I was going to say, that's not right. Zoltan Sedler's not leading the race, so the timing board on the left is incorrect. So here we are for the final race of the night, the rolling start, NASCAR style, if you will. So they come down to the start-finish line, and we are underway. McLaren, as you'd imagine, gets a very good start. Ruben Thorejo back there, but he is on the mediums, on his second set of mediums of the night. I'd imagine the timing board will fix itself by the first sector. So Sophie still leads the race. There we go. Oh, Adamans in the background. Just, I think he might have kept himself out of the wall there, but it was very close. I don't think he's held anyone up too much. Oh my god. But it's 3 wide for a corner where you'd be hard to find 2 wide, and I think someone's just gone round there, or yeah, someone has gone round there. Who's that? Was that? Oh, Jake Birkin. Was it? No, it wasn't Jake Birkenhead. Who was that? Clark. Wow. Luke Clark again with another poor start to the race. It's an absolute cluster here. As Jake Birkenhead goes for the move on Ruben Thorejo, so does Joe Whedon on Will Sutters. Will Sutters is not having any of that. Will going straight back for that inside through the final corner. But you can imagine Whedon probably has that straight line advantage as well with the slipstream. Sutters just forced to back out that one. And by back out, he was very forcefully backed out in the sense that he just couldn't keep up with the straight line speed of the McLaren. Adam Hans being overtaken by Che Easton. And again, Che stays ahead. Hans has to back out. Somebody's caught up. Great ground so far at the start of this race is Stein van der Hart. He's up into P3. He's behind his fellow Dutchie, Rick de Brie. And you'd imagine in this scenario, maybe the 2 Dutchies would want to work together. now it's only the start of the race and they can both make an advantage if they work together. But time will tell. Sophie's still leading the race, but the gap is decreasing between himself and Rick de Brie. Rick de Brie is a former race winner, obviously multiple-time race winner, I believe. Oh, has he won a race in this league? It wouldn't surprise me if he has won a race in this league, because he is a very quick driver, and he's known to be a very quick driver, and he's just set purple lap. I'd imagine that might get beaten by someone, potentially. 7.6 is not the best in the world. But, yeah, Rick is a very fast driver, and he takes no prisoners when racing. So I'm sure he will be going for the move at the first given opportunity. Sophie goes slightly wide out of that corner, just dips his left tyres on the grass. Like Van der Hart did the same thing. So Rick de Brie is pulling away from Van der Hart. I think de Brie's quite close enough yet. Maybe through that corner he is. No, the gap has increased between himself and the race leader. So Sophie's found some pace. Sophie has found some pace, which is good for him, not so good for the Dutchman behind him. Especially not very good for the Dutchman behind that. 2-second gap now between himself and Rick de Brie, as Captain Chubbs is all over the back of him. Che Easton now goes for that outside. New fastest lap from Captain Chubbs. Could this be redemption? I'll be all for it if he can somehow make redemption work. Does he go for the inside? He does go for the inside. But he pulls out last second. Stein just holding that position. Good defending from Stein. Respectful driving from Easton. You'd imagine Easton will get another chance here. But Stein covers that inside very quickly, very nicely. Easton not afraid to go around the outside, do it the hard way. Doesn't quite make it stick. Oh, up ahead. Battling for the lead now. It looked like they were side by side momentarily. This is really the pace I was expecting from Rick de Brie, to be all over the back of the race leader. As I was saying, Rick is no slouch. Experienced race winner and will be going balls against the wall for this one. And why wouldn't he? Oh, very late. Oh, that's very late defending from Sophie. That looked very reactionary. That's not really what you want to be doing. Not at all. So Sophie keeps that position. Your guess is as good as mine on how clean that was. Stein just got himself into a 3-car battle now. Chubbs has just gone off the track. I believe the cars behind Stein might have a bit more pace than him. just a hunch. Adam is on his soft set of tyres. I think he used the mediums in the first 2 races. Adam is very quick, so is Che. Stein, I don't think, has the same pace as them. We did just miss the move for the lead, but Rick de Brie is now the race leader. Hopefully there was none of that late defending again, because that was not what you want to see whatsoever. It's not great. Stein Van der Hart. Obviously we've seen him have a lot of pace tonight, and that trend seems to be continuing. Well, saying that, he's just set a 1 minute 8.7, but he's been very quick tonight, and he's just got to get his head down again, and I'm sure he'll make a gap to the cars behind him. In saying that though, Captain Chubbs has just lost out of position on Will Sutters, but Chubbs is going back for the inside. Sutters tries to hang it around the outside, and he does hang it around the outside. Great stuff from Sutters, because he'll now have the inside for the next corner. Really good racecraft from Will Sutters. Well done. One of the best overtakes I've seen tonight, holding it side by side for 3 corners. Really impressive stuff from him. Other drivers have attempted that, and Will is the only one I've seen who's managed to pull it off. So good stuff from the 2 super teammates. And Sutters will be looking to quickly gain some time, hopefully to get into the top 3, I'd imagine minimum is what he's expecting. The gap to the race leader has increased. Rick de Brie just pulling away, as you'd expect he would do. This guy's got a lot of pace. Sets a 1 minute 7.5, so minor improvement from his previous best lap. There are quicker drivers on circuit right now, but none of them are in the position he is in, so only time will tell, as we are about at the halfway point of the race now, give or take. Rick does go purple, very purple indeed. We'll just follow him with this lap because this could be a mighty fine one. 0.2 purple in the first sector. This is, in my opinion, one of the most challenging corners on the circuit. You just need to get the acceleration perfect. It looks like he has done, just keeping it off the grass there. Very good exit. It's the double left-hander. Nice one through there, really solid. Little slide on the exit, oh, that has cost him a little bit. But a beautiful run through the second to last, going through the final corner now. Might not be the fastest lap, but it's certainly going to be a fast one from Rick de Brie, as he is increasing his lead. 1 minute 7.3. So Rick, as I've said the entire race, he's got pace, and I don't want to jinx it like I did in the last one for Chubbs, but Rick de Brie looks like he could be on for a win tonight. The thing I love to see about this series, though, is we haven't had too many repeat winners. We had repeat winners, but we've also had a different race winner every single round. And if Rick can pull this one off, that is 4 rounds in a row now where we've had completely different race winners every single week. And I think that's absolutely amazing for a league. I really do. Question, though, has Will Sutters won a race yet? He must have done. I think he won in the first round. I think. I really don't know. I really don't know. Has Will Sutters won a race yet? I should really check that. I'd be surprised if he hasn't, but something tells me he hasn't really won at least too many races, but he is up there for the fight in the championship for the first time. Well, I say first time in a long time. He didn't even race last season of DTM, and the season before that, there wasn't really any fight for the championship. It was all Jake Witchell. But anytime there has been a fight for the championship, certainly the last time there was a fight for the championship, it was between Joe Witt and Will Sutters, and that went to the final round of that one. So let's hope that this is a similar fight for the championship. It looks like to be a 3-way, maybe even 4-way fight if Jake Witchell can get his stuff together. But saying that, where is Jake Witchell? P11. Oh, bit of a moment there in the background for the American. But yeah, Jake Witchell is only P11. Might have gotten himself involved in an incident, to be honest. I think that's the only way he can be 20 seconds behind. Stein now catching to P2. This could be a Dutch 1-2 if things go his way. 5 laps left to go. Sorry, 6. 6 laps left to go. Sophie just ahead. Doesn't look like he's got the same kind of pace as Stein van der Harts, so I'm not going to say this move is inevitable, but this move is definitely possible. Is Stein going to make the move here? Sophie does go defensive. That time didn't defend too late. Slow through that corner, and there's a bump at the apex and another bump on the exit. Stein doesn't make the position. Just pulled out that one there. Stein could have done the overtake there, but there was contact involved. Stein is going to try and make the move here. Sophie just pulling across the circuit there. You see in the background, Will Sutters now getting involved in this fight. 3 wide going into the first corner. Let's get to the outside camera. 3 wide. Oh, Sophie's just punted Will off. There's contact there. Maybe Will turned a bit too much into him. But Will was definitely pushed offline there by Sophie. Oh, and then Sophie's just pushed Stein off there as well. Jesus. Oh, that was contact there between Sutters and Sophie. Sophie's now lost 2 positions. 3, in fact, to Captain Chubbs as well. Oh, Chubbs has been spun round! Chubbs got spun round. Oh, it's not great racecraft. Half a second penalty. It's not a good display of racing whatsoever. Chubbs has just gotten his revenge. Oh, again, Chubbs, you shouldn't be doing that. You should not be doing revenge moves like that. I understand you're frustrated, but it's not what you should be doing. But Sophie's gone down to P7. Out of all of this, Stein hasn't gained anything, bless him. Out of all of this, Stein didn't gain anything. But Will Sutters does take P2, and I think he is going to move. He's going to increase the gap between himself and Stein. I don't think he's going to decrease the gap too much between himself and Rick Debris, or at least not enough for Will to take the win tonight. Jake Burke is back up there, back up in the fight, P4. There's Adam Hands and Captain Chubbs just following behind. Very late on the brakes from Sophie. Imagine Sophie might go for a dive bomb here, and he is. Ooh. There's a tap on the rear. Chubbs has been spun round. What a fucking idiot. Sorry, I shouldn't use that kind of language, but Jesus Christ. Completely lost his head on this one, I think, genuinely. I mean, the first time we saw of it, he did a very late reactionary defending on Rick Debris there. When those two are battling, and then again he's made contact with Chubbs twice, he's made contact with Sutters. He just needs to get his act together. And I'm not going to put it politely for anyone. If they're driving like knobs, they're driving like knobs. It's just not good enough. Van der Hart now catching up to Sutters. In Sophie's defence, by the way, Van der Hart did make 2 collisions with himself through the double left-hander, but Van der Hart didn't take that position. That's what you should do when you make contact with someone. Just don't take the position. It's the easiest way to avoid a penalty. Van der Hart played that perfectly. Maybe he shouldn't have made the contact in the first place, but he played it perfectly and didn't take the position. Now it is a battle between the 2 Supras for P2. Sutters right up against the wall there. Van der Hart following him suitably. These two can afford to battle quite hard. They've got the gap behind them. 2.5 second lap, or 2.5 second gap is good enough for maybe for a 1 lap battle. So if I were them, I'd be saving it till the final lap. But it looks like Stein has equal, if not slightly more pace than Will Sutters at this moment. He's certainly got the slipstream. This could be a feisty little battle for P2. We have the closest 2 cars on track. Do apologise for my little rant there earlier. Just as a steward, it is quite frustrating to see people make the same mistakes each week. Just had his nose in there. It's time Van der Hart, but not quite. Stein now to the inside. Sutters also to the inside, because that is the racing line. Sutters has made a 1/10 gap compared to the last lap, so we are on the final lap now. This will be Stein's last chance to get that P2. Luke Clark's back on track. Love to see it. But this is Stein's last chance. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen, I'm afraid. It'd take Will to make a mistake here, but Stein is catching a lot in this first sector, but again, not going to happen, I don't think. Further back, Jake Birkenhead. So Captain Chubbs has got back into the top 6. Imagine there might be a penalty coming his way, though. Well, I'd imagine. I'm going to have to look at the replay and see, but that wasn't great. That revenge move on Sophie, it's not what he should be doing. remember Sutter's got penalised quite heavily when he did that in the WTCC, if anyone can remember that. But here we are, Rick Debris leads out the race and gets his first win of the season. And pretty clean and easy for him. There you go. Your race winner, Rick Debris, for the first time this season. Will Sutters comes home in P2, and then it's Stein van der Hart in P3. Adam Hans takes home P4, and then the top 5 is pulled out by our championship leader, Jake Birkenhead. Che Easton P6, what could have been, I think it's fair to say for him. He definitely lost a couple of positions in those incidents. Sophie P7, very controversial one from him. He'll definitely be losing positions out of some penalties there. Jake Witchell P8, so manages to climb himself back into the top 10, and then it's Ruth Thorejo P9. Scholt Langstadler rounds out the top 10. And then we have the American just leading out Joe Whedon there. Luke Clark at the very back there. He just gave himself a little break in the pits at one point, we did see. So your race winner, Rick Debris. A good race indeed from him. I can't save the replay. If someone could save the replay and post it, that'd be grand. I'm sure, I think Will saves most of the replays as long as he posts them, and that's fine. That's all I care about. So we have enough time to do maybe 1 or 2 interviews if we're quick. So let's do exactly that. Why not? Who should we interview? I feel like a big pressure point, someone to interview, would be the Capitan himself. So shall we? We're not going to have like a WWE style fucking bring him and Sophie in, but you know. All right, there we go. We'll bring Chubbs in, and we will bring... we'll just bring Jake Birkenhead in, because he had a very mixed round, I think it's fair to say. Had a very mixed few races, did Jake Birkenhead, but we'll do our first interview with the bottle himself, Captain Chubbs. You had a very mixed night, mate. Jesus. So first of all, that last race was interesting, but we won't talk about that yet.
It was something.
We won't talk about that yet. We'll talk about the the second race. What the hell did you do?
I don't really want to talk about that either, to be fair, if I'm honest.
Oh my god, dude.
But, was it turn 4, I think it is. I clipped with grass on the left-hand side and almost done a full Chubbs. Only done 50% Chubbs, you know?
Mate. The last lap as well, was it?
Yeah, it was literally last lap. Probably could have got it back if there was another lap, but...
Do you realise the tyre advantage you had and everyone else?
Yes, yeah. I bottled pretty much every lap apart from about 5.
I saw, yeah. The whole time I was saying Chubbs really should be going quicker. Chubbs really... it's going to look really harsh on the commentary, but, like, I was disappointed.
I know it, and then I just tried to settled in, and then bottled. Yeah,
no, that's... Jeez. Yeah. No, I missed that one on stream. I was looking at a very good battle between Stein.
That's good for me. That's good for me.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for your integrity, let's say.
Yeah, they overtook me instead of I Chubbs. You know, I didn't do nothing.
Race 3. We can give a little bit of your comments on that. Obviously, I saw some interesting defending from who I know you're going to talk about on Rick Debris, and I called it out immediately. I said that's reactionary defending. So he'd already lost his head by that point by the looks of it. But then again, I don't know.
I wouldn't say I was annoyed about any of the race until the ending with the obvious person.
Yeah.
But, I had a little nudge from someone, but it wasn't too bad. I was just trying to settle in and couldn't pull the laps together.
Well, I did see you nudge him back on the final corner.
I will take responsibility for one incident, to be fair, if we're going to fully go into it.
Yeah.
But the last one, I just felt like he over-defended and then it just come out and right in my line. I could not avoid him at the different speed we took it, and I would say it's because he was so far out of normal. And so I ended up hitting him and driving on past.
Yeah.
I didn't stop for him because obviously what happened prior.
Yeah.
But that's all I can really say about that. Like,
Fair.
the first half, if you saw it, then like you understand
I
it.
think I did catch all of it, to be fair. I had a little rant on stream, to be completely honest, so I apologise for
Yeah,
that.
and I think in our party, quite a few people said it throughout all 3 races. So,
Okay. Well,
I mean, let's see what happens in the reports, I guess.
yeah, let's hope that doesn't continue for the rest of the season.
Let's
Fingers
hope,
crossed.
yeah.
So I have invited Will and Jake Birkenhead, neither of them are joined, so let's invite Mr. Debris. Why not? So, good job tonight, Chuck. Well, I say good job. It was kind of a mixed bag for you.
I'll take it. It was good.
Could have been better.
It was better than the last few weeks, I suppose.
True, yeah. So I think you're still like top 6 in the championship, top 7. You're there and thereabout.
I think top 5 for the end of the season will be good.
Yeah, top 5. I think that'd be a realistically good goal as well. I think that's kind of where Adam Hands and Jake Witchell are at the moment. So you can catch them.
I see myself better than them quite
Just
often.
get a good few rounds coming up for the rest of the season. You should be able to do it. So, going to interview Rick now in a bit, mate.
Right.
Well done.
In a bit. Cheers.
So,
hello,
mate. So this is the last interview we're doing tonight. So Rick, obviously, stand-in. This is supposedly your one standalone race that you're doing, but I said at the very start of commentary, when I introduced you, I said, everyone starts off with one standalone race. This is not going to be your only race this season, is it?
depends on if I have the time. If I have more time, then I'll probably race again. So
You just won, mate. You've got to race again.
True, but I'm so short on time. That was good fun, though. It was good fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of clean racing from you and others as well. This track produces a lot of good racing. What would you say about that?
Oh, the racing, especially in the first race, was great. I had a lot of fun, even though I got a bit unlucky with the start. I had good pace towards the end. I think if I wasn't so unlucky at the start, I would have probably gone P3. But I think overall was good fun, except for the first part of the final race. That was interesting.
That was interesting.
To say the least.
Yeah. The defending.
So and then I was like, you know what? If you're gonna drive like this, then I'll be ahead at the apex. So I was.
All right, Verstappen.
Oops. So, but yeah.
Well, what actually happened in that first race? I caught it slightly. It just looked like you dropped it on the exit the hairpin.
I have some gloves over here, and I totally forgot to put them on. And if I don't put them on, my hands will die. So through the second lap, on the straight, on the end of the first lap into the second lap, I was putting on my gloves. So yeah, I dropped like 2 or 3 positions because of that.
Jeez.
But it was good fun fighting back through the pack. So I guess it was worth it in the end. At least my hands are fine now, so not a lot of damage.
That means your hands are good enough to race for another round.
Sure, if you say so.
So
fine, I'll race another round.
Well, we'd love to see you for another round, and I'm sure someone to say something about that is Will. We'll interview Will now. Obviously, first time interviewing Will, the league owner, so it's probably you should have been one of the first people to interview.
Everyone else normally has something more interesting to say, so...
Right, there was a bit in commentary, Will, and I'm really sorry for forgetting this. Have you won a race yet?
Yes, I won one at Laguna Seca.
Right, so Will has won a race. Okay, so you're climbing back up in the championship, I think it's fair to say. Jake Birkenhead had a very poor first race. Do you think, with the points added up after this round, do you think you might be back up there?
Yeah. Well, obviously Dom didn't do so well in the first round either, or the first race, sorry, and then obviously dropped out in race 2 and 3. So I don't think he's going to be as close to the top as he was. Jake as well, he definitely had the pace, don't get me wrong, he was absolutely fine.
Oh, he's rapid, yeah.
But, I think, I can't remember if it was lap 2 or 3, in the first race he was just round and that was sort of it. So,
that was an issue with his brake balance.
Yes. Yeah, I was sort of listening and trying to suss it out as I was driving along, but I couldn't sort of tell whether it was like a Jake being a Wally or you know, the car actually being crap. So
Well, a bit of both, maybe.
yeah, probably yeah. Bless his cotton socks.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good racing between you and other drivers. You did a very good move. I can't remember who it was on. You had a very good battle with Stein at the end of that last race, and in that last race, you did a very nice move. Went side by side with someone for 3 corners, and then went round the outside onto the inside. You know, in that first sector.
You know, I can't remember.
The double left in the first sector that goes into that fast right-hander.
Oh, was it Adam?
It was
Or
Adam,
Ruben
yes.
or something?
It was Adam or Ruben, and you were the only person. I saw lots of people try and do that move tonight, but you were the only person that actually pulled it off.
Oh, happy days. I mean, an overtake's an overtake. I could have done it in a straight line. I wouldn't have batted an eyelid, but...
True. Yeah, no, but it was an impressive one. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you very much.
All right, that's all I wanted to say. You've shown good racecraft this race, and yeah, I hope you can climb up to hopefully the leader championship for your sake.
Hopefully,
I'll be saying the same to Jake Birkenhead when I interview him, though. So
yeah, well, I hope that certain other drivers also improve their racecraft as well. It won't name names, but he drives a green Honda, so.
yeah, it wasn't great. It was all caught on stream. Even the Rick Debris one, it was all caught on stream.
Yeah, no. When I was following him and Stein was up there and made contact, and I was just got sick of it, so I biffed him wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it'll all get looked at in post-race stewarding, so.
Yeah, I'll have to pull some Hayden Clampett executive decisions.
Oh, Christ. Did you save all the replays?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay, I didn't get the first and the third.
Okay, no, I'll put the first one up for Joe, so I'll put the third one up for you.
Sweet. Right.
Yeah, well,
so,
I'll let you interview Jake then.
I've got a dip now. I invited Jake, but he hasn't joined, so I'm dipping now.
How heartless of him.
I know, right?
Sad. Well, thank you very much for your commentary this week, as always.
Cheers. I hope I did a good job this week.
I'll watch it back in a bit. So, yeah.
Right, so thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to all the drivers tonight who took part. It was definitely a classic. I think it's fair to say this was a really good track for racing. Very happy to see. Definitely, it was a fun one to watch. And hopefully we see this track on more calendars in the future. I've always enjoyed this one, so fingers crossed. And fingers crossed for the rest of the season. We are at the halfway point of the season now, so 4 more rounds to go. And if you want to catch every single race, obviously it will be streamed on this YouTube channel every Wednesday, just before 8 o'clock UK time. Don't miss it. It's a good one. It's very good stuff, very good one to watch. If you're free your Wednesday morning or free your Wednesday evening, there's no reason not to watch it. So we'll see you all next week. Where are we next week?
Hang on, let me have a quick look.
We'll see you all next week at Antrack.
Oh, Sardinia B.
So we're off to Italy next week.
Yeah, we're finally out of America.
We're finally leaving America. So 4 rounds in America. We're finally off to Europe, off to Italy, to be racing at Sardinia B, which is a very interesting street circuit. So, of course, make sure to catch the stream next week. And, yeah,